Welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the prelim fights for UFC on ESPN Overeem versus Harris. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the card and our first fight on the prelim. So in our first fight, we have in the heavyweight division, Rodrigo Nascimento versus Don'Tale Mayes. So looking at this fight right here, you got a 6'6" heavyweight in Don'Tale Mayes versus a 6'2" heavyweight in Nascimento or Rodrigo. So is height the biggest factor? Not really, but definitely I think it could be a significant factor in this fight. So a lot of people are leaning towards Nascimento in this fight because they see his jiu-jitsu, and jiu-jitsu is very rare at heavyweight. And we also seen Don'Tale Mayes coming off a loss via submission to Ciryl Gane. But looking at Nascimento fight, I haven't really seen the best wrestling from him. Haven't seen the best striking from him. I think Don'Tale Mayes is training at a better gym with giving him a lot of different looks, a lot of good wrestlers, a lot of good grapplers. I think really the reason why he got picked apart so bad by Ciryl Gane was not because Ciryl Gane was just some wrestler grappler. It was because Ciryl Gane mixed up the whole game on him. He was picking him apart on the feet, and then he picked him apart on the ground. It wasn't that he just took him down and then submitted him. It was like he had already been worn out to get submitted, already been rocked, already been hurt to the body, to the head. He'd been hurt to the leg, everywhere in that fight. It was a full, complete breakdown. Where I see Rodrigo Nascimento, in most of his fights, he is the bigger guy. He has longer reach, he has the height, he has the size in all these fights, so he's the bigger guy. I don't really see much impressive striking from him. Don't see really any impressive takedowns from him. In his Contender Series fight, he fought an all-right guy, but really it was like a smaller cage, and the guy attempted to take him down first from an awkward position. So pretty much the guy just threw his own momentum off, and then Rodrigo Nascimento just followed him through and ended up on the ground. And then the guy didn't make the best decisions on the ground. But what if this fight is going to be in a standard cage, so it's not going to be no small cage. Don'Tale Mayes will be able to use all of his height. He'll be the biggest guy he's fought. Also, let me go back to Nascimento. He hasn't really fought the best competition. I think outside of like one or two guys, he mostly fought some really amateurish fighters, whereas Don'Tale Mayes has fought some credible credible fighters outside the UFC and won. Nascimento's competition hasn't been as high as Don'Tale Mayes. I think only one of his fighters might have been around the competition level that Don'Tale Mayes has been fighting. And Don'Tale Mayes, just fighting Ciryl Gane, has already fought somebody better than anybody Nascimento has even probably trained with. And also training at Jackson Wink, he's probably training with fighters that are higher caliber. So what I see with this fight is Nascimento having the jiu-jitsu that can definitely be a game changer, but not really having the ability to get it to the ground, having issues dealing with that big of a fighter for the first time, that's using that range, using that height, and making the fight very long. But if Don'Tale Mayes does one of those spinning kicks, he can definitely end up on bottom. But if he fights long and doesn't really give Nascimento any gifts to get him to take like these gifted takedowns by doing something stupid like a spinning back kick up close, or maybe doing a slow low kick or a slow body kick that gets caught. But if Don'Tale Mayes mixes up well and doesn't do something stupid, I think he can definitely pick apart Nascimento from a distance, and I see him stopping Nascimento in the second round. So in this fight, I got Don'Tale Mayes via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the featherweight division, Darren Elkins versus Nate Landwehr. But look at this fight right here. Darren Elkins, he's a dog. His chin isn't the best anymore. He's taking a lot of damage, but he still has phenomenal heart, crazy heart. Striking unorthodox, but he makes it work by mixing in his takedowns and bending in your face. Nate Landwehr on the side, another dog. Good takedown defense, good scramble ability, decent striking, high pace. And how I see this fight right here is that I think Darren Elkins thrives off a lot of people being worried about his grappling. And so that allows him to land strikes that he usually wouldn't land if it was just a pure striking match. But against a guy like Landwehr, he's came from a league where he's dealing with a lot of Russians, a lot of wrestlers, a lot of people with solid grappling. He's held his own with those people. And he's susceptible to getting caught and stuff as well, but I feel like he's not going to allow Elkins to have the type of, really enforce this type of style where you're so worried about his striking and his pressure and his activity that he can start to land stuff on the feet and he can start to really push you back. I feel like Landwehr is not going to really care for what Elkins is doing. He's going to be able to neutralize it and respond to it. On the feet, he's going to let his hands go. Yes, he got knocked out in debut because of that same thing, but I don't see Elkins doing the same. I feel like it's going to be a competitive fight. It's going to be a lot of grappling, a lot of scrambling here and there, but I feel like Landwehr is going to just let it go and be able to tag up Elkins. I don't think he stopped Elkins, but I think he definitely hurts Elkins bad. Like bad in this fight, might even get a drop or two in this fight. But I feel like he's going to be able to outpace and outwork Elkins in this fight and to be able to land the more significant strikes and really keep Elkins' success in the grappling to a minimum. Like, if Elkins gets takedowns, he can be able to scramble, get back to his feet, or he's going to be able to neutralize the takedown. Elkins might get some control time here and there, but it's going to be few and far in between, and really going to be Landwehr outlanding Elkins on the feet and really dictating the pace of this fight. So, in this fight, I got Nate Landwehr via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's flyweight division, Courtney Casey versus Mara Romero Borella. So in this fight right here, Borella, I think she's the better grappler between the two, but her wrestling is pretty piss poor, so I don't see her having much success with that. Courtney Casey has given us some ugly takedowns here and there, but even then, I just think her chance to really get into her best area, or the area where she can have success, is going to be very limited or none at all. Now, I think on the feet, Courtney Casey is the bigger, stronger fighter, the better striker. And I just really think she bullies her in this fight like this. Beats her up on the feet, defends a takedown, maybe even takes her down just cause and lands some ground and pound. But more so, I see Courtney Casey going out there and bullying Borella for 3 rounds. So in this fight, I got Courtney Casey via decision. Now on to our next fight, we have in the featherweight division, Mike Davis versus Giga Chikadze. I think Chikadze is 2-0 in the UFC now. Both fights showed his inability to really deal with grappling. He's been able to hold his own in the grappling, but still, if you're on your back for that long periods of time and getting controlled, it's not a good look. And it shows that this is an area where people could take advantage of you at when they take you to the ground. They can have so much success. And Mike Davis, I think he has the striking and the power, the athleticism to hold his own with Chikadze on the feet. And also, he has a pretty decorated wrestling background as well. He's explosive, athletic. And I think he can mix it up with Chikadze. So I feel like he can hold his own on the feet. And also, he has that other layer where he can mix in the grappling and put that on Chikadze. So I feel like really this fight just comes down to Mike Davis being that talent that he is and having the ability to mix it up and not just one facet, not just striking, but also grappling. And Chikadze is still more of a one-dimensional fighter. And I think Davis can score takedowns on him. I'm not saying he's going to get every single takedown. I feel like he can have good success with the takedowns, great success with the control. And on the feet, he can hold his own, more than hold his own with Chikadze. So I feel like it's going to be a decision fight. I think the striking is going to be relatively close, but that grappling aspect is going to really edge it for Davis. I think with that, mixing that in, he's going to be able to dictate the fight, control the pace of the fight, and where it's going, where it's not, and not never allow Chikadze to really get comfortable on the feet like he needs to win this one. So I see Mike Davis getting the decision in this one. So in this fight, I got Mike Davis via decision. Now to our co-prelim headliner, we have in the middleweight division, Anthony Hernandez versus Kevin Holland. So looking at Anthony Hernandez, I think he like 1 submission loss and 1 submission win in the UFC. Some decent power in his hands, some decent speed in his hands, some decent technique, but still not the most experienced at the high level. I think he was like 6-1 in his career, so still needs a lot of experience. Kevin Holland, I think he's like 17-4, 17-6, a lot of experience. For a lot of high level guys that are either fighting at lightweight, welterweight, some guys fighting at light heavyweight. He's for a lot of the good guys, a lot of the prospects that are coming up and thriving in the UFC right now. And I think he beat more of them than beat him. So he's doing pretty solid, or he's been doing pretty solid for his career. I think as far as these two, I think he's the more well-rounded fighter. He's the longer fighter. I think he's a better grappler between the two. Only I'll say Anthony Hernandez does. He's not as free out there as Holland is. And by saying free, I'm saying that Holland does a lot of stupid stuff out there. He makes a lot of mistakes, and he just it kind of benefits him and also hurts him in time. Like in the last fight, it hurt him. Like he'll get on the ground, he'll give a position too easily, and usually he'll get out of these bad positions, then he'll switch and get back into a good position. Like he'll just be rolling and giving up, top positions so easily, and then also be reversing and getting top positions. So he's a very weird fighter. But I feel like against Hernandez, Kevin Holland's the better grappler. He's the longer fighter. He's the more experienced fighter. And I think his unorthodoxness will help him in this fight. I think he'll be able to mix in kicks, keep Hernandez at bay. He's fought harder hitting strikers, fought better strikers. And he's a better grappler than Hernandez. A more experienced fighter than Hernandez. I think really in every area he's better than Hernandez, except maybe some questionable fight IQ. Outside of that questionable fight IQ, I think in every area Holland is better. I feel like Holland could beat him apart. Can outland him from distance, being drawing volume and constantly moving and constantly mixing it up. And I feel like on takedowns on the ground, he can control Hernandez. And I think it's another one of these weird Kevin Holland type fights, but I think he's eventually able to get him down, control him, land some ground and pound, secure a top mount, get Hernandez to turn over, and I think he sinks in the rear naked choke. So in this fight, I got Kevin Holland via second round submission. Now to our prelim headliner we have in the welterweight division, Matt Brown versus Miguel Baeza. So looking at this fight right here, really looking at this fight right here. This is definitely is something about this fight. Like you can lean to Matt Brown, definitely in this fight. You can lean to Miguel Baeza being undefeated, being young, and having all this talent, all the skills. Like if not for one factor, I would lean to Matt Brown in this fight. But because of this one factor, I will lean to Miguel Baeza. So Matt Brown, he only lost to one person he shouldn't have lost to over the past however so many years. He lost to champions, former champions, or future champions and former champions, and like Damian Maia and some other people. And then he got that random, what's that guy named? Jake Ellenberger loss where he got kicked in the body. And that wasn't like the good Jake Ellenberger. That was like Jake Ellenberger that was over the hill Jake Ellenberger. He got kicked in the body because Matt Brown has that weaker body. He doesn't do that well with body shots and body kicks. And Jake Ellenberger just caught him good, and it was over. That's the fact I'm talking about, the body kicks and the body attacks to Matt Brown. And Miguel Baeza has some pretty heavy kicks. He was able to stop his last opponent via leg kicks. So I feel like he can bring that up. Like also he has a very good teep kick as well. So if he can bring those kicks up to the body, I think he can have very good success against Matt Brown. But like I said, Matt Brown has only lost to very solid fighters over these past couple years, or over the past, 5, 6, 7 years, only lost to solid fighters. He's pretty much beat everybody else. But another factor, you got to question his motivation. He was retiring, then he just came out of retirement and fought pretty much some guys, or one guy that was pretty much another older fighter that's been around. Not a newer fighter, but an older fighter. But either case, what I'm trying to say is his motivation there, and also Miguel Baeza has the ability to attack the body. But to get to the more so to the point and to the prediction of this one right here, I think Matt Brown could definitely have success if he's able to deal with those kicks to the body, and really just deal with those kicks in general, be the pressure and fight like Matt Brown, not give Miguel Baeza distance. I feel like he could definitely thrive. I think he could even get a stoppage if he does that. But I'm going to lean to Miguel Baeza, being the youth, or the younger fighter. He's not a youth, being a younger fighter, being a talent fighter, being a taller fighter. And I've seen he has pretty solid head movement. He's always moving that head. He has solid wrestling, solid explosive. He's explosive, has a BJJ black belt, and those kicks. And he's moving his head, he's moving his feet, and he's moving them hands. He's not a fighter that's going to be stationary in front of you, chin up for you to punch. He's moving that head, hands at a good level. It's not completely up, but it's like right there where he can react and bring them up. He's moving his head, so you're not can't just really jab him up or just land those big power shots. He's moving he's moving his head, he's moving his hands, he's moving those feet. So that's gonna be hard for Matt Brown to deal with. And then also with that explosive wrestle, Matt Brown gonna have to get in on the inside, which gonna allow Miguel Baeza to change levels and shoot shots on him. Matt Brown always gonna have be worried about those body shots. If he's able to land one, or get him worried about one, the hand's gonna drop a little bit. Then he's gonna be able to come over the top, and he's gonna be able to give Matt Brown a lot of different looks. And I feel like in a 3-round fight, with his talent and his assets, like I say, the height, he's technically sound. Is he technically phenomenal? No, but he's been that technically sound fighter that has his attributes and be able to mix it up very well. I feel like he's going to give Matt Brown a hard time, be able to mix it in when he mix up the game when he needs to mix up the game. I still see it's a very close, gritty fight, but like I said, those kicks to the body, moving that head, moving them feet, not really allowing Matt Brown to pressure like he wants to. And then Matt Brown pressures and when Matt Brown really starts that pressure heavy, I feel like he can mix some takedowns and really not allow Matt Brown to plant and really get his game going off. Really basically what he's going to do is not allow Matt Brown to get set and get settled and really implement his game. He's going to really prevent Matt Brown from getting his game going. That's really what the fight's going to be. Miguel Baeza never really allowing Matt Brown to get set and get his game going, mixing it up, not staying stationary, and giving Matt Brown a hard way to go. But competitive fight nonetheless, because Matt Brown not going to really care. He's going to still be trying to throw. He's still going to be trying to bang, but Miguel Baeza is not going to be having it. So in this fight, I got Miguel Baeza via decision. And that concludes my fight predictions for the prelims of UFC on ESPN, Overeem versus Harris. And as always, thanks for watching.